The Druid, of course, is the new troop that Supercell introduced recently, and how does it stack up versus the healer? And if the Druid went head-to-head with the healer, who would win? The Druid is quite an amazing troop at 1600 HP, 16 troop space, and 140 healing per second, while the healer is also amazing at 1900 hit points, 14 troop space, but only 80 healing per second, and max 68 healing per second for heroes. Now, of course, the kicker is that while the healer continues healing as long as she's alive, the Druid only heals for 30 seconds before turning into a massive, no-nonsense bear with 4,400 hit points and 180 DPS. Which brings up an interesting dilemma. If both troops heal, then do I need healing for longer than 30 seconds that the Druid offers in order to ensure a 3-star for my attack? To answer that question, we have to look at the type of attacks that we are choosing to use. So if we're doing a traditional queen charge, for example, whether that be QC Lalo, QC Hybrid, or QC anything, then 100% the healer needs to continue being used. Keeping the queen alive for as long as possible is key for most of these style attacks, which means it's going to be longer than 30 seconds. Now, technically, you can dribble in 2 druids every 30 seconds or so to get a similar effect, but again, it's a question of complexity and whether or not that complexity is worth it. Another reason to look at using healers over druids is for attacks where the troops will need healing the entire attack all the way to the end. So examples of this would be super bowlers or super witches. Unfortunately, if those troops didn't stay under heal for the entire attack, then they would just die out early and the attack would massively fail. So when exactly do we need to use the Druid then? It seems like such an OP troop. Is there any scenario in which we can actually use him to our benefit with only healing for 30 seconds? And the answer is a resounding yes. And there are 2 big scenarios where the Druid really shines over the healer. The first is with a hero dive or a hero-based attack. Now, this of course takes a little skill in determining exactly what targets need to be gotten down and whether or not the heroes need that healing to stay alive a little bit longer, but allowing heroes to receive 160 healing per second with 1 Druid, or say 320 healing per second with 2 Druids, can of course make a hero dive or a hero-based attack so much more powerful than with just heroes alone. And if you slowly put in 2 Druids at a time, that hero dive can turn into quite a massive base smashing. The fact that after 30 seconds the Druids turn into monster bears just solidifies that attack. At 4,400 hit points and 16 housing space, this is very comparable to an Ice Golem at 4,200 HP and 15 housing space, but with more than 3 times the DPS. Granted, the Ice Golem freezes while the Druid heals. I guess pick your poison. Spell. Now, where the Druid really shines is with mass ground armies, such as Root Riders. As we all know, keeping the Root Riders alive for as long as possible is key to giving your heroes room to demolish the base. And the Druids help do just that. Then once the initial healing is done, the bears pop out to create even more destruction alongside the heroes. Now, the healing tome on the Warden can be used, but in reality, the Rage Gem might be a better option to really supercharge that Druid healing, so make sure you work with what's best for your attacks. Another benefit to consider with Druids is if you're sending your army through the center of the base, where there's likely to be lots of air mines, then any healers you use are unlikely to last long anyways, unless you bring Coco Loons, of course. So using Druids helps create a similar healing environment initially without the need for the extra troop space, doing a solid job funneling and getting the Root Riders through a base as quickly as possible is definitely key to ensuring the Druid's ability is utilized at its maximum. You can almost think of the Druids like having an extra heal spell, similar to how the Ice Golem is similar to having an extra freeze spell. So essentially, if it comes to a Queen Charge, or if you have Super Bowlers or Super Witches, I'm going to go with using the healer over the Druid, although technically you can dribble in Druids. Now, if you're going to be doing a hero dive or a hero base attack, or mass Root Riders or any mass army like that, then Druids definitely take the cake. But since I've been shying away from Root Riders more and more recently, then I'm going to have to give the massive Healing Championship trophy to the Healer! Let me know what you think about healers versus druids in the comments below. Make sure you share this video with anybody who's curious about the healing properties and the benefits of using either troop. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel to watch more videos, to keep up with videos just like this, also to show support to the channel. Until the next video, my name is TipDog20. I'll see you then.